Welcome back, everyone. Hope you sat comfortably. Got another episode of Story Time with From Tom. Gonna take up where we left off with Disco Elysium, and I believe we were just outside the pawn shop, and I was scratching my head as to who's been smuggling the drugs. It's blatantly something a question we've overlooked, or maybe we've got everything that we need to know. Let's go talk to this chap, see what he's got to say. What's that down there? From Man on Waterlock. Is that a knife? What is that? Okay. Good day to you, officers. A burly man hangs out by the waterlock, carving up a generous serving of salami with an old hunter's knife. His eyes are fixed on a man stranded on the other side of the waterlock, and on an enormous billboard that has fallen down into the canal between them. So first things first, what are you doing here, man on the waterlock? Do you know what caused this wreckage? Okay, let's start with that. I wasn't here to witness it, but those look like tyre tracks on that sign. Weird, huh? Then again, plenty of daredevil drivers in Revocol. Too bad it also takes a year and a day to repair anything round here, especially a waterlock. The rest of the coast is closed off till then. Do you know what's further down the coast? Can I have some of that salami? Do you know what's further down the coast? Well, there's a fishing village, an abandoned fish market, a bizarro church. Not much use to the congregation though. There always seems to be something wrong with it. He thinks for a moment. Yeah, not really much else, just bombed out ruins. Can I have some of that salami? Sure thing, he cuts off a slice of salami. It is salty, it is savoury, it is chewy. The hangover only makes the salami more tasty. Want some too, officer? He turns to the lieutenant. The lieutenant ponders the offer for a moment, then decides to go for it. Why not? He takes a slice of salami from the man and chews on it. Right, bye-bye. Okay. Man on the pier. Can we go down the ladder? Can we look at that? Put a sign down. A crumpled billboard reading Samaran butter soaks in the canal. Two ugly lines mar the bright countenance of the blonde boy depicted. The signed billboard has fallen on the waterlock, keeping it open and thus out of order. Attempt to reconstruct what happened. Okay. Judging by the size of the impact and the parallel lines of the burnt rubber, the cause was probably a motor vehicle. The crater. Slide slip marks indicate that the vehicle was travelling up the crater at 35 kilometers an hour. Look at the roof of the shack. Black marks on the roof indicate that the vehicle vaulted from the crater to the roof of the shack. With a sloping metal roof panel. The panel served as a takeoff ramp. Okay. Broken posts. The vehicle soared through the air, hitting the billboard and upsetting the posts. Then it continued its flight, taking the billboard with it. Okay, the sign broke the vehicle's fall into the canal. The Samaran butter billboard still looks freshly painted, suggesting it took the plunge recently. How recently? Within the past 72 hours. Look at the opposite bank. Still speeding, the vehicle made a loop and vanished into the fog along the coast. What was the model of this phantom vehicle? There are two good candidates, the Capri 40 and the Linear G22. Why the Capri 40? Oh, breakthrough imminent. Finger pistols. It's about the right size, and the tyre marks look like they came from the skinny tyres frequently found on that motor carriage. The Capri 40 is a very popular model with bank clerks, topping pie delivery drivers, secondary school teachers, cops, strippers dressed as cops, and undressed strippers. Okay. Why the Linear G22? Very sturdy but light motor carriage, more likely than most to survive the jump. The Linear G22 is not a particularly popular model due to its peculiar proportions, which the manufacturer's design team probably thought about for too long. Okay. What now? Now you'd have to follow the tracks to be sure. Okay. The lieutenant looks on, waiting for you to wrap up your analysis. Okay, so what do these finger pistols give us? Okay, so turns out that guns aren't that much for protecting as they are for attacking people. If you want to protect people, really work for them, you have to whip out your signature dual 9mm Villiers finger pistols. Who needs a real gun anyway? That conversation you just had, it would have gone better if you'd snapped those bad boys at them. No, 9mm dual finger pistols do not count for an actual weapon in a gunfight. +1 reaction speed, safety zeros off, and empty hand slots give +1 suggestion. Oh, that's good. Okay. Right, so can we follow that round? Looks like we can't get over the bridge. Helpline to the company that controls the drawbridge. Hot air rises up from the sewer, sour, acidic, and strangely comforting. Okay. See, I'm a little bit stumped. Oh, we haven't talked to these folks yet. Wonder if they saw the this car going off.
Life doesn't need to be a struggle. Oh, I'll be with you in a moment, officer. Let me just finish my sandwich. Talk to angry old Rene first.
Okay, let's talk to angry old Rene then.
Have you no shame? Whining about your back every time you bring out the measuring tape?
Rene, you're a man with a fork in a world of soup. Please, let's just try to enjoy the game, alright?
What an expression. You're a man with a fork in a world of soup.
I am trying to, but you keep breaking my concentration. You're old, I can see that. We're both old. Now, stop grabbing your ass like it's a girl.
These manly men are playing balls. This is a ball game, okay? Grab a ball and play it. Don't ask questions. Shoot first. Ask questions never. Alright, I got this ball time. That's the spirit. Don't even waste your breath asking about the game. They wouldn't know anyway. They're way past their prime. Okay. Looks like we can show them how it's done. Oh, we failed a 92%. This felt wrong. Wrong like touching your sister's breast. What the hell? You threw your sister's breast. Okay. Okay, game. Mon Dieu, the jolly man exclaimed. Good job, officer. That was an excellent throw. Hold on, why did it feel so wrong? Something about it was completely unnatural, corrupted. Your muscle memory knew what to do and went for it, but there were gaps. Damage morale, let's heal that up. We want to stay on top of this. It felt like you were going for a thrust or a lunge. There's definitely going to be jumping. Maybe you scored a point, but this is a fiasco. The throw was terrible and you know it, no need to mock me. What are you talking about? You just executed a pretty much perfect pétanque throw. Pétanque? Pétanque? Something like that. His tone is full of admiration. How are you ever going to get the officer's off your nose, Gaston, or even climb out of his ass. He shakes his head in extreme disdain. Perfect throw, will I still feel defeated? Probably because those rooster pants are squeezing you senseless. Whatever happened to practical, durable Revocol maid? Shakes his head. Now what can I do for you? Look who's talking. That cockatoo uniform must give him a real advantage when fighting in this circus. Yes, officer, the lieutenant gives you a quick side glance. What do we need from these gentlemen? Always there with the quips, Kim. Do you know anything about the man hanged? Seemed to be playing in a crater. I saw the statue of Felipe III. Okay, let's go with the statue first. Ah yes, King Felipe III on his steed. A reminder of what Revocol once was. Oh absolutely, he smiles as if reliving a pleasant memory. At the mercy of a cocaine-snorting tyrant who emptied the treasury so he could sleep on a bed of gold. Cocaine? Cocainum sounds like our kind of king. And just imagine what kind of cocaine a king would have had. A superpower, feared and respected, a testament to what this country can be under the leadership of a true king, someone who knows how to rule. So how should a true king rule? Decisively, without fear of offending the sensibilities of the frail and weak-minded among his subjects. This is something the insurgents never understood. Seems to be a leader should take care of his people for himself. Powerful leaders, not afraid to do what must be done. That's what this country needs. Not sure how I feel about this. Yeah, we don't want to get political. You haven't lived as long as I have, son. With age, a man learns certain things about real power, or else ends up a spineless socialist rat like Gatson here. And the worst part of that, officer, he says, face terrified, is having to spend your days playing petanque with an angry snake. The Carabinier doesn't reply, but his entire being communicates with unbreakable resolve. What was that about cocaine? Oh, old Felipe was a big fan of the purple nose candy the nobility loved so much. A cocaine connoisseur of sorts, he chuckles. His egocentricity is borderline legendary. You can't even take responsibility for yourself. How could you fathom the responsibility weighing on the shoulders of a ruler, he asks, obviously annoyed. That's why the Philippian kings used cocaine, for clarity of vision, to aid in their work. Regnum cocainum, Revocol's finest years. He seems to grow taller, brimming with pride about the past. I'm satisfied with this explanation, okay. Of course, the lieutenant marks dryly. Clarity of vision, awareness. Felipe III was even brought into this world with the help of cocaine. The court medic administered a dose to his mother when she was in labour, and it's well known that with the help of cocaine, only the purest, of course, he was able to connect with higher realms. Yeah. He's just making excuses for the king's habits, isn't he? Such responsibility requires a boost every now and then. Seems like irresponsible behaviour from monarch. Thanks for clearing that up. I have some other questions now. Yeah, said that. Let's talk about something else. Do you know anything about the man hanged? Unfortunately, I don't, he shrugs. Unlike most of the locals, I have no qualms about assisting law enforcement, but this affair has passed me by completely. And most of the locals? In Martinez, the union is the law, so can you really blame them? But you don't have a problem with cops. Cop is a pejorative term. I don't have a problem with policemen. On the contrary, I admire the effort to bring order to our streets. He doesn't know about the crime. Your time is better spent discussing politics. So again, you don't know anything. If I knew, I would not be afraid to tell you. I simply don't. I'm an old man, not a coward. The daily business of the riffraff no longer concerns me. You seem to be playing in a crater. Yes, the man nods. The terrain here provides an interesting variety to a familiar game. Does it have anything to do with all the bullet holes I've been seeing around? Oh, sorry. Okay, it's a crater left by... yes, he replies with a reluctant nod. It was left by heavy artillery fire. Okay, it's a crater left by artillery fire, but why? Why what? Why was heavy artillery used? Because that's what happens when communards hijack your country, execute your supreme leadership, and turn your capital into a slaughterhouse. You use heavy ordnance to clean up your home. Right, who are the commoners again? Did you use artillery fire? Did you use artillery fire? Sadly no, it was the foreigners who brought them to their knees. We fought valiantly, too valiantly, so valiantly, we got licked. He adds, squeezing a bull in his fist. Should have fought dirty like they did with suicide sex cult propaganda and mad anarchist women strapped to shrapnel bombs. We didn't though, and we lacked caliber, God bless him. But the suzerain's cannons simply weren't big enough. It's probably a bit more complicated than that. Why shell them here in Martinez? They should have chosen a place away from here. Why shell them here in Martinez? Because this place is the damn beachhead, he says, pointing to the bay. Had to soften the commies up first. The beachhead? Yes, he nods, inspecting you with some disdain. The military coordinated amphibious landing to take back Revacol. Martinez was used as one of the 3 footholds in Revacol during Operation Deathblow in 08. The other 2 are off in Stella Maris and the Delta. He points to the northeast. Deathblow sounds grim. Nod thoughtfully and turns to look northeast. This here is Blood Ground, where coalition boots first made landfall and cleaned those rabid dogs out. Most likely, he says, looking down at the soil, we're playing petanque on their mangled corpses. Nice. Blood Ground, the other one shakes his head. You got old Rene going there like he isn't angry enough already. That explains all the war damage. Damn right, son. They laid the fire of hell on this city before they stormed it, and it worked too. There was a strange gleam in his eyes. The rest of the city got cleaned up, but Martinez they keep as a monument. A dark shadow runs across his face. And now the Union Socialists are practically running the place. Well, it's your own damn fault, the jolly man marks. You, we, the coalition, Revacol, whoever you want to blame, never finished the job. Officially, the party never surrendered. Of course, they still hold influence. You didn't even begin to truly understand the players on the table, let alone the specific circumstances surrounding this. He stops mid-sentence and turns to you. What do you think? That's how it should be. Soft socialists paving the way for the hard-working class to take over. Foreign powers cleaned up our mess and now they rule us. This coalition seems quite capable, actually. Communists just don't understand how money works. Nothing, I don't think I just do. Well, really, we don't know, do we? I'm liking this stopping of the rain, though, and everything clearing up. It made everything look a lot nicer. Got them playing their balls. Okay, let's go with 2. I'm sorry it had to be them. He looks down at his boots. After 8 years of fighting those hyenas, boiling cats for food and drinking piss in the mountains, I would have preferred if the Right Honourable King Guillaume returned to Revacol, or even if that damn clown Frisell had risen from the grave and led us. Sadly, that was not the case. Instead, all that is just, holy and beautiful in the world was wiped away, and now it's neon signs with toothpaste ads everywhere. Foreign influence peddling garbage and stupid music on the radio, he says. This is just what the commies wanted. This is their plan all along. This is what they wanted to replace the rule of suzerain with. How does Philippe the third factor into this? Who is the Frisell? Who is this Frisell? You mentioned Guillaume. He doesn't, the veteran replies sharply. That was 100 years ago. Ain't got nothing to do with anything. Who was this Frisell? Damn Frisell, he was the king we couldn't protect. The Carabineers failed him and the crown. The old veteran falls silent and massages his chest. He died in the hands of the hoi polloi in a very public execution. He slouches as he says that. It makes him smaller, admitting they left the king to the mob. You mentioned Guillaume. A true king in both blood and mind led Revacol before Frisell. He would have been better, but the damn commies drove him into exile. Some manner of self-deceit is present in his thinking. Sounds like this Guillaume abandoned him and he doesn't want to admit it. What exactly is a suzerain? A suzerain is the king. Has everyone forgotten already? He then slowly nods and says to himself, they've forgotten already. It's no use talking to you. You were still in Daddy's balls when it happened. When we took our last stand against the filth and rode the cavalry straight into gunfire. Thank you for your time. Clearly you like the hard stuff, brother. The what? Sounds like my stomach is growling. Where's my loan testing going on about? The what? Sounds like my stomach is growling. Evening falls. The time has come to take the vows. Vows? The vows of blood and flesh. Where's my learning testing going on about? Learning testing? The term is metabolic and circulatory system. Okay, but what's the hard stuff? Fascism, brother. What is fascism, though? Many things, but it's mostly about trusting your gut. Who does your gut tell you is the source of ever caused problems? Foreigners, financiers, leftist academicians, liberals. I thought you were my circulatory system. It's not foreigners. I mean, financiers, leftist academic, liberals, none of the above. Thought you were my circulatory system. Quit stalling, brother. We were talking about the weakest, worst, most insane thing, the weak link. Again, none of the above. How can it be any of them? They're all things that add to a society, not take away. Let's go for Nazis. Yes, them, but also women. No, no. And why does women have umlauts? Woe men, men of woe. You don't like them. They're insane. Their idiocy needs to be scrubbed off this world with rubbing alcohol. Woe men need to go back to the effing. Wow. That's what fascism boils down to. The rest is also important, but the main thing is that I can't really say that. Am I having some kind of stomach seizure? Okay, stomach. I've made my mind up about fascism. Absolutely not. I'm not going to be plagued by an upset stomach. Boom. There's a slow and painful growl somewhere in your intestines, knocking on your alcohol and gorged liver. It is one of betrayal and disappointment. Hey, what's this other one? Son, you've really let yourself go. It's a disgrace, but Coach Physical Instrument is going to get you back in prime condition, even if it takes 1,000,000 push-ups. Coach Physical Instrument, that's mean you call me a maggot and a Nazi way to motivate me. Yes, sir, unfortunately. I'm really, really not interested. Alright, yeah. It's going to take blood, sweat, piss and tears, but when I'm done with you, boy, you will be a master athlete. Why piss? When a man sets his mind and body on something and gives his 110%, he is sometimes going to piss himself. It just happens. No shame in that. Let's do this. I'm with you, coach. Coach, physical instrument. Behold, world. Here walks a sportsman, hands chalked and hair kept back with the bandana, the Homo athleticus. So I didn't know what was going on there, but we opted for one thought and opted out of another. So, So you can only have 3 thoughts in at once, I see. Until we unlock these. Oh, you can spend a skill point to unlock them. But then... So what does this even give us? It takes so long to research. I kind of want to know what it's going to do. So, okay, we'll leave it as is for now. I want to spend my skill point on a skill. Composure. I think endurance and pain threshold are probably going to be. Yeah, let's go for endurance. Make his survivability a little better. Okay. So we've gone all around that way. What's this now? I say we go back in here. See if there's any new people to talk to, any new dialogue options, things like that. Certainly looks busier in here now.
Hello again, sweetie. I see you met up with your colleague.
Yeah, I did. Lena, the cryptozoologist's wife. Who's Sweetie?
Why? You are, officer.
I'm no Sweetie, look at me.
You are a handsome man, officer, with your moustache and your chiseled jaw and that silly dimple on your chin.
Thanks.
You must forgive me. I'm getting so scatterbrained, I completely forgot to introduce myself.
I know who you are from the text.
I'm Lena. My husband Morel and I are staying with our friend Gary just down the street, but I come here for tea when they're away.
Just Lena is wacky enough for the motley crew. Hire her on the spot. You seem to be in a chair. How'd you like to roll with me? If you don't... I don't know if you noticed, but I don't know anything. Know where I am or what I'm doing or anything. Well, yeah, do you want to roll with us? Her eyes light up. Whatever do you mean? I want you to be my wheelchair partner in fighting crime, helping people catch sequence killers. Sequence killers? Oh my, she sounds impressed. But I think you already have a partner, sweetie. A partner who needs for you to get back to helping the people of Martinez. Kim, of course, I forgot I had you. Yes, and it seems to me that you do well to stick close to him. He has the look of an upstanding officer of the law. Someone you can lean on, and sweetie, you are looking unsteady. And she looks down, and even if he weren't there, I don't think you've had much use for me. Why? 3 heads are better than 2. Thank you, but she looks out the window wistfully. Martinez isn't the most wheelchair accessible place, you see. I'd slow you down. She turns back to you with a hopeful glint in her eye. Perhaps another time? I don't know if you've noticed, but I don't know where I am, or what I'm doing, or anything. Her eyes follow your movements with some concern. Yes, officer, you look rather dazed, like a stunned fox, but surely things can't be that bad. I drank so hard I forgot literally everything. I hope you're right, I hope it's not too bad. You know where we are, right? The Whirling in Rags cafeteria? So my keys, we're in Revocol and Insulende. Let's say we're in Revocol. That's right, in a hostel called Whirling in Rags to be precise. Revocol is the disgrace capital of the world, something like that. Yes, great, see, we're getting somewhere. What else do you know about our city of splendour? Honestly, I know diddly squat about Revocol. What kind of place is this? Her eyes, grey eyes widen. How would I even begin to tell you? Revocol is the most beautiful city in the world. We're fortunate to be here, you and I. I haven't seen very many other cities personally, but everyone says so. Revocol is a rare jewel. The city used to rule the world, though it has seen better days. There's a pause as she studies your expression. You must look quite lost. Speaking of history, you know what year it is, yeah? I forget. 51. That's right, dear. How splendid. Here, take this pen. Knowledge should always be rewarded. Nice. Her relief is palpable. She was getting pretty worried about you there. She now relaxes her shoulders. I can tell that this is taxing for you, so I'll just ask one more question. What regime are we living under? What mode of government? Some kind of democracy. I'd like to think it's the dictatorship of the proletariat. Our leaders are fierce warriors. We are governed by intelligent machines. Radios are being used to control people's minds and distort our perception of reality. We are living under cop regime. Some kind of democracy, maybe? Nope, sadly not. Revocol is what's called a zone of control, under an alliance of foreign powers called the Coalition. We have no government of our own, and what democracy we have is, she thinks, market-driven. Okay, meaning buying is voting. If there's no government, how come there are cops? Oh dear, she shakes her head, suddenly very worried. And you were doing so well. There aren't any cops in Revocol, not in the traditional sense. The status of law enforcement has been a complicated matter since the revolution. But we should stop for today, sweetie. You look like you need a break. Besides, I'm not the best person to explain the big things to anyone. She's scared now. She realised you really are brain damaged. Who could tell me more? Someone more educated in sweeping matters? Maybe she would ask. She turns to the lieutenant. No, he looks away. I'm not an encyclopedia. I won't be a guide either. I'm a detective. Of course, she turns to you. Then I don't know. Someone rich maybe? Wealthy people are educated. Though I don't know where you would find a wealthy person in Martinez. That's a good point. This doesn't look like Rich Central. Okay, I've got to get going now. Of course, dear. Good luck with your case. She gives you a small wave. Okay, so there's a fair few people in here, so buckle up. Talk to this old sitting down the wrong way on the chairs, man. It's all about money, you know. Sleeping dock worker. A man is sleeping at the table wearing mud-caked boots and rolled down overalls. The back of his shirt reads Wild Pines, encircled by a logo with a tree. A colourful piece of plastic is dangling from his carabiner. Makes your fingers itch. On the counter, rolled out of his open hand, you see a blister pack of headache medicine. Pick up the pills. Inspect the piece of plastic on his carabiner. Wake him up. We could try. Just leave. A bottle of rum has been knocked over. A beautiful dark liquid is spilling out. That sugary black rum stain on the counter makes you teary-eyed with joy. It's almost touching how syrupy and sticky it is. How long have you been up already? Not now. Maybe I should look it before I go. No. I don't drink in real life, so that's pretty easy to turn down. I've got anyone else here? Maybe we talk to the... the kitchen's now open. What's this here as well? Health item, yeah, we'll take it. Have you got anything new to say, sir?
Real mature, man. What exactly were you trying to accomplish? You do understand you still owe me money, right? I'm sorry, I know it was irresponsible of me to run. You have to understand I was desperate. Hold on, what's this money anyway? What, are you brain damaged? Actually, I might be. Since I woke up, I have trouble remembering. No, I'm just getting my bearings. Money is what grown-up people used to pay for things. Things like hostel rooms or, he peeks into the ledger, or 8 bottles of potent blend and 9 packs of Royal Extra. We use it for everything, really. Is this money? Yes, it is. Count them and give them to him. That's 10 plus 10 equals 20. Right, now down by 40, right? No, you see, there's a tinge of sadness in his voice. That's 40 cents. Cents are a form of currency 100 times smaller than real. I'm not even going to take this. Come back when you have 130 real. Wow. But that's horrible. It is. He stands silently looking at the coins on the counter. Isn't it evil, the order of magnitude between what is asked of a person and what they have? Keep it to yourself and pick up the coins. There's a shuffle of nylon as Lieutenant Kitsuragi looks for something in the pockets of his orange bomber. Do I get something in it? Do I get something for effort? You know what? The stupid drinks you've had are on the house. You know why? Because I know you can't pay for them. Not because you run away. Now, I still have to charge you for 3 nights and the broken window. That's 100 square. So we cool? Not entirely cool. You still owe me 100 rail. If you don't have it by tonight, I can't let you back up there. Okay. Now, what the hell did you want? I assume you wanted something to come back here. Okay.
saw a sign that said the mess hall is reserved for the Union. Yes, not the whole damn Union, thank God. Just the nastiest. Oh, and hello, mail. I must remember to cut that out. Yes, not the whole damn Union, thank God. Just the nastiest and loudest faction. He tosses his head in disdain. They come here in the evenings, dumb, unruly types. Think they're big shit, but they're good customers. They place big orders and always pay on time. He gives you a meaningful nod. We should find out who this loud faction is occupying the booth. Loudness means talkative and we need info. How do we find them? We don't. We have to wait. They'll show up sooner or later. He looks toward the booth. Men are hungry, even men on strike. You glance at the clock on the wall behind the manager. Ha! It's after 4 o'clock. The sign said reserved starting 4 o'clock. Why isn't anyone in the mess hall? Good question. He turns to the cafeteria manager. They're probably getting drunk or protesting something somewhere, or laying low after the, lynching. Why is that? They probably effing killed that guy or something, that's why. The lieutenant thinks. I have a feeling we'll make their acquaintance sooner or later. There's something else I want to ask about. What? By the way, you should come back to this thing-based questionnaire if you see anything interesting in the whirling later. I saw another thing at the whirling. No. So about that money I owe. Actually, how much do I owe you again? A lot for the room with the broken... Okay. Where is home? Do I even have one? But you've been at this hostel cafeteria for only 3 nights. Where were you before? You had to be somewhere. I don't know, near south maybe? Far away? Up on Marble Hill? I don't know. You don't really know, do you? I don't. Does this mean I'm homeless? South maybe. Doesn't sound like somewhere you can stay if you run out of money. Could I trace the way back somehow to the exact street, the number on a building? Learn some long way home. You can try. Run some addresses in your head when you get the time. Maybe a street apartment will appear. Oh, you need skill points to forget something as well. Interesting. Oh, so it turns out we didn't even find out. But the lady was just the person that was out there, wasn't she? Thin man is smoking below an exhaust hood, occasionally sipping from his mug. This must be the Whirling's cook. As you step in, he nods toward the table and says something in a completely foreign language. The only words you can make out are Gorossi and Quebec. Oh. The man puts his cup down and replies something, his left hand drawing arcs in the air. You've got some impressive pots there. He smiles and bangs his ladle against each of his pots in turn. It's almost like music, especially with the sounds of assorted dishes boiling and simmering on the stove. Don't think I need anything else here. See a heavy steel door with a prominent dimple lock. It's painted blue. Wonder where this door leads. You do? The lieutenant regards you with patient skepticism. It's a door in the back of your kitchen. Why do you care where it leads? Eccentric, but okay, I suppose we could look into it as a side investigation. He looks at you, then at the door. Garter is the person to ask about this, the cafeteria manager. Try to push on the door. The door does not budge. Okay.
Can I help you?
Mysterious blue steel door. Oh yes, that door, sure. There's nothing mysterious about it. It's just a door, he shrugs. Do you know what's behind it? Do you have... No, I don't have a key. I don't know how to get there, and I don't care either. It's not like I've been wondering about it for 10 years. It's just the Frit warehouse, probably. Or some boring storage space with a bunch of old junk and dust. Junk and dust. He runs his finger across the counter to check for dirt. He's attempting to maintain an air of indifference. It's absolutely not convincing. I think you'd like to know what's back there. Fine, okay, a little, he shrugs. But my job doesn't leave me time for wondering about one locked door in one of the cafeterias I manage. So I haven't opened it. I have cleaned the whole place 100 times over there after the animals, and I haven't found a key, so good luck with that. Okay, let's head back. Oh, what's over here? Head back outside, see if talking to that woman will let us progress that quest, I suppose. That's in or lead, or whatever. Maybe there's some dialogue that we missed or something. It said find out who is the woman and who is...
Hello, man.
Where is it, truck?
You caught me at an opportune
Are you
moment.
the lady driver?
This
Well,
awful weather gives me away.
did you just call me a
You can
lady
entertain me with your questions.
Zarif? I was told of a woman driver. You're the only woman here. I'm not that either, Zarif. Her smile dissipates. I've gone too far from it all to remember what was between my legs. It doesn't work like that on the long haul. So you're not the driver everyone is terrified of. I'm only terrifying to small children as those who used to know me. Yeah, it's not her. Then who is the female driver I was told about? How should I know? Do I look like I spend a lot of time with other camionneurs sniffing around when I have my movies to go to? Why are you scary to the people who used to know you? Because they can no longer recognise the person I once was. You said long haul, that's the big ones, the tracks. There's no women and men there, it's all just she hums along as if to a track on repeat. In the middle of this town there's a ghostly motorway. It takes all of the people where they want to stay. In the background a quiet song seeps from her cabin into the air. You don't hear any vocals, that's all I needed to know. Before I came you seemed away. Okay. So who is this lady driver? And what's the point? Where is this lady driver? Still can't go in there, I guess. Fumes of heavy fuel oil waft over you. What about the back seat? The back end of the cabin has a small perch to sleep, large ashtrays that several some suns and wheels sewn into the curtains. A book with ragged edges catches your notice. The front cover features a large muscular man. The titles read Man from Helmdall in the Lost City of the Pygmies. Racist nationalist paraphernalia, he grits his teeth. Not unusual in this part of town. This is our guy. The lieutenant nods towards the racist lorry driver. You think this lorry belongs to our tough guy? Likely yes, this guy is proud of who he is, draped it all over his machine. There he is in the front of Frit, smoking nervously, hoping it's over. So does he mean that guy? Captain Racist McGee.
Looking for something, Runt? Huh? Coming to tell me to fuck off again?
I know you've been giving me the runaround. Where's the lady driver? I don't know what you're talking about. First you knew Selene didn't do it, then why are you smoking? Just tell me. Oh, alright then. First you knew Selene didn't do it, He did something. He stole his employer's goods and another lorryman's job. You should be thankful for the tip. He grins a wide smile. Then why are you smirking? Listen up, F-wits, you don't scare me. You cops don't run Revocol West, you don't run Martinez, you don't run anything. So who does you? So who does Lady Driver? Actually, we do, just tell me. So who, I think that, who does the Lady Driver? No, the lieutenant turns to the lorryman. He means La Puta Madre. A legendary, and not in a good way, crime boss from Jamrock. Controls what is probably the most powerful organised crime outfit in Revocol West. For a moment the lorryman is silent, then he spits on the pavement. Yeah, him. Cross your arms and nod. Then I presume you're familiar with his peonies. Yeah, he says, unsure about where this is leading. They're his little bitches, he's got them all over the unions. Not just the unions, he has peonies everywhere. Some say he even has them in the RCM. He gets closer to him. Dirty effing peonies who would do anything for him. Multi-ethnic drug addicts. Okay. The lieutenant adopts a rodentine quality. Be cool, sire, he's getting into this. Say nothing. You're not peonies, he says. You wouldn't be investigating a drug thing if you were. No, of course not. We're not peonies, but if we were, and one of Madra's drivers were to be stealing from him, then it's a good peony's job to find out who that is. He's surprisingly good at this, not bad at all. Look at him lurching. It's not a hard job, it won't take a long time, it won't make a Padre Madre angry. He looks at him. But a stupid effing racist is standing in the way, protecting this effing thief. His eyes dart between you and the lieutenant. I'm not scared of you, or the mob. I'm under the protection of the Lorryman and Carter's Guild. You've seen that corpse in the ceramic armour there? The lieutenant points to the yard. Did his little guild protect him? Nah, you wouldn't just leave him out there if you... He tries to light a fresh cigarette, but his hands are shaking now. The sentence simply ends. The lieutenant turns and gives you a barely perceptible nod. Be careful, this man's still got some fight in him by the looks of him. It won't be easy to break him. So... Make him tell you what he knows. What you're hauling. Let me just try something. I'm just going to leave for a second and go to my inventory. We have a thought equipped. That, in fact, let's just look at his other thoughts. It's just low. Yeah, we have one equipped. This finger pistols, the empty hand slots give +1 suggestion. I'm wondering if... oh, we already have empty hand slots. I thought because we were wearing the gloves that might... Yeah, okay, maybe not. Let's pop a save. Really, we need to level up.
Looking for something, Hunt? Huh? Coming to tell me to fuck off again?
We need to level up Half-Light. So what can we do now to level up? Because 17% is an almost guaranteed no. Where can we go and what can we do to level up?
Right to work! Right to work! Shame on you!
I think we're just gonna have to try it because I'm struggling to think of anyone else to talk to who we've got. Just look at his quests. / leads. Right, we don't have a badge, so we can't do that. We need to wait until sometime after 9 o'clock. Perform field autopsy. Hangman is down. Perform and closes his body. Can we do that now? Let's try doing that. We just need the gloves, don't we? Which we have somewhere. Not great to be doing it in the rain in the middle of the night, to be fair, but let's see what happens. You see a set of tyre tracks in the brown slush that covers the plaza mosaic. The tyre tracks were left here by an unknown event that took place some days ago. It's a message written in the language of burnt rubber. Some of that rubber stuck to the tiles right in the front of the whirling in rags. This point A, the driver started there, and then accelerated straight into the fence, left a hole big enough for the Franconigarian cavalry. According to the cafeteria manager, what happened next? The driver proceeded to back out of the yard, barely stopping before hitting the adjacent building. Before heading south, must have been in a hurry. Is this the same car that potentially leapt over the canal? This is the point of departure of the vehicle that crashed into the Samara butter sign. The lieutenant follows the tracks with his gaze. That's plausible. A similar reckless abandon seems to be in evidence. Car drove through the fence. You are correct, this is a rather motor carriage friendly city. Is this connected to the case? I'm not sure, there are plenty of traffic accidents waiting to happen in Martinez. With the jam right here on the roundabout, I would keep them separate. You could follow the tracks south. There seems to be a canal there. See where they went. Yeah, we've already done that. Okay, cool. The rotting man lies on his side with his eyes looking straight through you. The belt is still around his neck. The body is supine and open to intrusion by autopsy. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath. Come on, officer, he pulls on a pair of latex gloves. You know what a field autopsy is, you've done 100 of them. What you do know is at 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano Corpus Mundi is the world's highest summit, and the failure of the 38 single Puy du Son to crack the top 20 was the death knell of disco. But what a field autopsy is, you have no idea. Let's get in there. There truly is a time for everything, even for yellow gardening gloves, he nods approvingly. However, they are lacking hygienically. I suggest you get in there in a limited capacity. Alright. I'll ask you when I need you to. For the most part, maybe I should handle the contact and you take notes. Okay, where should I take these notes? In your paperwork, officer. Just fill out the field autopsy form, he sighs, already expecting the answer. You're not going to believe this. I think I've lost my paperwork. Now they only have one paperwork too. Officer, what haven't you lost? I still have my disco trousers, that's the best sentence out of all of them. Yes, barely, he looks at his blue notebook and sighs. I can give you my paperwork. There's an autopsy from there. Several actually, but only if it helps move things along. I should have just brought a dictaphone, he mumbles. Let's work off yours for now. Right, the autopsy form is near the end. He hands you his notebook and pen. Open the notebook at the field autopsy form. The dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists, describing the condition of his skin and organs in 3 parts. Above those, an 11 field info form needs filling out first. It begins with 1 assistant. That's you. Right, Harry Dubois, should I say. The corpse is indifferent to your scribblings, just lies there. The next box says 2, coroner's case number. Okay, write it down. 3, name. Not applicable. 4, date of birth. Not applicable. Age. The man corrects his glasses. Roughly 50. Try 40, the damage is so extensive it's better to err on the young side. I'm going to write around about 42. He nods. Race. Mondial, subgroup, Occidental, as per your observation. The pudgy mess looks neither Mondial nor Occidental. It doesn't even look human. The next line says, as you read it you think, that leaves out dark-haired Mesk, Sao, Samarisian, Kedriatic, lighter-skinned Occidental means this man could be Vespertine, Oranges, Messinian,
Those three are on the table. Solid guess, Mr. Racial Profiler. Sex. Effie, Effie. The little monster exclaims energetically. Male. Pig's gonna have sex. Right, Effie, male. Yeah, let's write male, shall we? Nor does he look male, with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face. Date of death. We're still going with March 4th, 51. What else? He looks over your shoulder. Body identified by is non-applicable. Case number is same as the coroner's case. Listens motionless. KK5705030815 listens, motionless, with the cargo belt still around his neck. Only one box remains. Evidence of treatment? None, at least not after the initial examination. What exactly is treatment anyway? I agree, lividity pointed to a lynching. I'm not so sure. Didn't the footprints look like he was carried over? Agreed, no treatment. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. They'd have to have incapacitated and carried him over. This man was more than a match for untrained dock workers. He places his hand on the dead man's chest, as if in preparation. Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath, ecclesiastic, religious in nature, a holdout from pre-Delorium burial rites. It takes him 2 seconds to perform, then we should start the post-mortem. Turn the page. The corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on its chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. The thicket of boxes and lists on red copy of paper tries to answer why. Okay, so 1. External examination summary. Clothes, he begins. The deceased wears armoured boots and white briefs. The man, the make of the briefs is Babradine, I think. Let's see. Turns the body onto its side to check the underwear label. See, it's happening. Babradine, yes, inexpensive, size medium, colour white. The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something more lurid. The boots are ceramic, vitreous enamel. They're fused to his skin from blood flowing downward post-mortem. Removal of the boots is left for processing. Right down. The boot has a serial number. He twists the dead man's foot. It's E501 stop 100 stop 1000 stop. The lines between the plates are in the shape of the alphanumerical. The number is purposefully concealed by the design. Right down. Tattoos, he stands up, feet planted on either side of the body. The upper torso is covered in a single continuous tattoo, resembling a map of the night sky. It reaches from the far right shoulder to the heart. The ink is in blue and white. The assistant has a colour photograph of the markings, to be added to the case files as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene using a Trigat Mini. Right down. The deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Colour, yellow, length, 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end. Right down. He produces a measuring tape, well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.80 meters. Generally consistent with age 42. Preservation is good. Ambient temperature below freezing. Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with age. He kneels in to get a better look. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short. Touch the corpse's hair, write it down. Short, light brown, male pattern baldness. Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest and thighs. Consistent with stones thrown post-mortem. Low velocity. Effing low velocity? I'm not saying that. The kid explodes. You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was effing max. Talking about Kuno's velocity. The lieutenant pays no heed. In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp and chest consistent with predation. Right down. Ligature mark. The lieutenant produces a small folding knife. With the other hand pulling on the belt, he starts cutting into the polyester. The stench is horrid. After a while, it's obvious the material cannot be cut. The steel wiring, he concedes, breathless. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get through the ligature mark. You just got the right tool for that, the chain cutters. Good thing we got these. Always good to think ahead. Now, he points to the rope squeezing the dead man's neck. We need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully with as much precision as you can. See, my piggy's gonna F his head off. No he ain't. See looks blasé.
Your pig's a boring egg. Oh, this isn't good. Look for a good spot to cut. The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges like white bread rising from the east. Alright, okay, so we just needed to do that to take it from whatever to a 72. Ah, come on! You jam the cutters right under the knot. That seems like a smart idea, yeah, somewhere there. Already they're buried deep in the man's flesh, then you rotate them to get a better hold, then... enough, cuts them. Okay. He steps in and takes the chain cutters from you. I should have a go before... I think I have a strategy. Let him work. He sinks the cutters into the knot, preparing to perform the cuts with his elbow to his knee for precision. Snap. The knot is slashed, another cut, and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck and the dark red ligature mark around it. Here. He hands you the chain cutters back and then kneels closer to the body, running the string along the dark red groove until he comes to a gap. The rope rises to a point, he says, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck on the nape. Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters. Chest is intact, he presses down on it. Normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant, pelvis intact. Genitalia, he pulls down the man's underpants. Now it's gonna happen, see? I effing knew it. Genitalia is male and unremarkable, no evidence of injury. Write it down and move on. Back is symmetrical and intact, he struggles to turn the corpse on its side. Upper and lower extremities are intact but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh and hip. In addition, I see a smaller residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin. For wounds sustained over 2, maybe more decades, dispersal and accumulation indicates long and active combat duty. Scarring is extensive, way more than Allura officials. He nods. We have a real museum here. Battles, wars. Last item, hands. He takes the man's right hand in his, inspects it, then moves on to the other hand. Let the lieutenant work. Hands are clean. He inspects the wrist. No sign of a recent struggle. Were we expecting any? I was. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, the stench is making it hard for me to think at the moment. Whoa, he turns to the side to breathe. It's not enough. He buries his face in the sleeve of his jacket. You hear a muffled voice. That's all for the external. Well done, what's next? Internal examination summary. Okay. Whew, Nelly. Central nervous system, he says, and then concludes abruptly. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system? Of course, there is a moral to be drawn from it. A moral to this story. If I may add the moral of his story, what would that be? He looks at you inquisitively. The dead man looks too with barely contained excitement to hear the moral of his story. The brain is very vulnerable to compromises in its blood supply. The lieutenant grins. I think that may well be the moral of every story, officer. Alright, not applicable. Good. Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. He gets close to the mouth hole. Eyes squinting from the stench. Not injury related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid burn, let's see. With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it gently. A rotting smell erupts from the mouth. Purge fluid runs down his lips, black and viscous. You hear cracks as the lieutenant moves his sharp fingers inside the flesh, like the creaking of an old house at night. The hyoid bone is fractured, he says after a while. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact, unremarkable. Back hunched as if in prayer, he begins to pry open the dead man's jaws. Respiratory system, he stops to exert more force. Both hands are used. Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen, hemorrhaging present in mucosa of the lips and mouth. Look inside the dead man's mouth. No scream, no sigh of relief rises from the darkness inside. It's humid there. Sickly sweet air, unlike anything living. You feel like you're about to throw up again, straight in that mouth of his. Right down. He wipes his brow. Hepatobiliary, not applicable. Why, don't we have anything? He looks at the corpse's stomach with a mixture of tiredness and disgust. Are you a hepatobiliary expert?
hepatome means liver, and biliary the gallbladder and bile ducts. Am I an expert in these things? Nothing in your alcohol soaked memory directs to having forensic experience on either one. I don't think so. Neither am I. Right, not applicable. Same for toxicology and serology. Right, not applicable. Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood has gathered in the hands, feet and neck. Hypostasis is visually consistent with a hanging. Write it down. Gastrointestinal. He breathed a sigh of approaching relief. This is the last field on the list. He looks around to the ground, the pool of feces there. This will do. Then he touches the cop's bloated lower abdomen briefly and says, digested semi-solid food in stomach, voila. Write it down. Keep the voila. What's next on the list? Description of injuries summary. Let's see, he tilts his head. We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 fields, leave a 4th one too. Be thorough if you want the maximum results. What about the injuries we have afflicted? Oh, he looks incredulous, so we inflicted them? This is a team effort. You mean the incision on the thorax from the chain cutter? That was not a team effort, and I wouldn't mention it. Muddies the waters. Okay. But isn't that sloppy? Be pedantic if you like, it doesn't matter. No one else is going to investigate this man's murder, and if they do, such details would only confuse them. See, these pigs are effing corrupt, the boy nods approvingly. Why don't you F them if you love them so much? Now, injuries. Okay, so bite marks. He nods. Head, chest and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. Odontologist does not need to be consulted. And your opinion, officer? Beneath the description there are 2 boxes waiting to be ticked. Opinion fatal injury, non-fatal postmortem. Bite marks. Non-fatal postmortem. Agreed. Next injury. Contusions. So, the scalp bleeds from a postmortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response. A perpetrator on the scene has confessed to it causing it postmortem. At maximum velocity, FO. Has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity. Write down. Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest where the countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath the description of injury, 2 boxes. Non-fatal postmortem. Right, next. Ligature mark. Finish the autopsy. What's the 4th injury field for? Nothing, just in case. Turn the page back. The corpse lays slouched to the side, obvious in to its surrounding. The field autopsy form describes his state in 3 parts. Take a peek at the notes. You find a moment as the lieutenant inspects the dead man's fingernails, just a few glances. The pages are filled with a bulky freehand that's nearly illegible. Still, you can make out the case with a curious title. The Man with the Hole in His Head. Try to understand what the lieutenant has written about the case at hand. It's very hard to draw conclusions. All you can make out is that he is in a hurry to solve the case. The tempo of the handwriting says as much, and that there are a lot of notes in there. Most of them are made prior to arriving at the scene in preparation. It's not spelled out explicitly, but the lieutenant fears a tear is forming between the liberal moralist establishment of Revacol and her populist citizenry. This populist force, a potpourri of far right and left, is exemplified in the Debardiers Union. Their strike, if allowed to escalate into violence, adds a growing sense of civil war in the city. He's extremely neutral even in his notes, but avoiding this escalation is Kim's primary concern when dealing with the situation in Martinez. So here it is. Okay, I'm leave. So you added, man. Okay, so we've done that. This appears to be a case investigated about 3 weeks ago, a workplace accident. The titular character's wife tried to get compensation. The company was not forthcoming. It's hard to make it out if the hole was fatal. Search for something about us. Maybe you're imagining it, but there are some remarks in there, and they're not all negative. You are referred to as the 41st by your station number and what? And the 41st comes off as a moderately competent detective. Nice. dark red and braided ligature mark encircling the neck with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. The hyoid bone is fractured, the cervical column intact. I see hemorrhaging on the skin above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark at 1 centimeter. No signs of clawing on the neck. Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to the side, awaiting your judgment. The ring is around his neck is visible. Think for a moment. There's time, don't rush. Was he dead when they brought him here already? Let's have a look. Scroll back up. Dark red braided ligature mark encircling the neck with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. The hyoid bone is fractured, cervical column intact. See hemorrhaging on the skin above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark 1 centimeter. No signs of clawing on the neck. I think it was post-mortem, non-fatal post-mortem. The lieutenant falls silent abruptly. Why do you say that? I don't think it was the injury that killed him. Okay, why don't you think it was fatal? Psychic heart. Why weren't his hands tied? A big man like this, I would tie his hands when marching him to the gallows. There's no reason, it's just a random guess. Because, yeah, if there's no marks on his neck, what would be the first thing that you'd do if you were hung? Unless you died straight away. You'd be absolutely scrambling to try and get that wrap from your neck. So, honestly, I'm not sure there weren't marks on his wrists. That part got blurry for me, the stench. He covers his mouth, but you're right, I was ready to call this. Now I think we should leave it empty, at least for the time being. He produces a small black plastic roll from his jacket, a body bag. Let's wrap this up. I pronounce this field autopsy over. Okay, what now? Now? He pockets it. Now we put him in a body bag and I drive him to Faubourg for processing. Oh no, we don't leave Kim, do we? Or Kim doesn't leave us. The lieutenant looks at the dead man one more time, then at his notebook, then at the corpse again. You tilt your head, also looking at the corpse. I'm sure we didn't get everything. There's always something. Search the body one more time. Tell me, Wichita. Okay. Okay. Look under his fingernails again. They turn dark, chipping and quite long. There is dirt under them, that's all. Yeah, there's something we're not seeing. Okay, well, we're in liver mortis here. It's disintegrating. We need to refrigerate the body if we want to conduct another examination, and we need to do it fast. Okay, where do we find a fridge for the body? It would have to be industrial in size. Let's start by asking Garter at the Whirling in ragged and the Fritz star down at the gates if they don't know. His voice trails off and his gaze settles on Kuno. Only if all else fails. F, are you looking at, ping pong man? You want a piece of the Kuno, want to get F'd? Only if all else fails, he stresses. Or, remember the buttons on the intercom over there on the side of the building next to the Whirling. One was for a Revocol Ice City, perhaps it's a clue. Let's hurry then. I need to take another look at the body first. Okay. Tell me, dead man, who are you? Okay. Okay. Let's do that then. I'm going to hold off on doing the level up for now, because when we go back to talk to what's his name, racist uber racist, then we'll use a level up for that. I see. Okay. So then we need to ask the hotel manager. What else did they say? I'm not happy about the idea of bobbing this dude in a fridge though.
Can I help you?
Seem to be in need of a fridge. Yes, for the dead body. You want to put a dead corpse into my fridge, right?
What to put a very important dead body in the fridge? I don't care, you're not putting a dead body in my fridge. Why? Because this is a culinary establishment, not a morgue. I can't believe you even asked me. It would only be for a... Lieutenant, you too? You can't believe it. You're asking too? No, the answer is no. I will not turn this place into some kind of macabre circus. Besides, let's go talk to the frick clerk. Okay. She, mate. She don't really care about a job. He's all like, I've got so many restaurants that I manage. Although I only ever seem to be in this one. It's past 9 as well. We could go and find Thingy at the apartment. Man, it's amazing to think I was like, what, I don't really know what to do a minute ago, and then...
Is this about the questions again? Because I don't really know anything.
Do you have a fridge? Right behind you. I need to store a corpse there. You joking, right? Never mind, it would never fit. Does Frit have a warehouse in the back of Whirling in Rags? Come on, give me something to work with here. Fine, Frit doesn't have a warehouse, just a little back room here, okay? She turns back to a magazine without waiting for you to respond. Okay. So apparently the fridge wasn't big enough here. I think we might just have to take the body away. Well, we're here. What was it we needed to level up?
Looking for something, Hunt? Huh? Coming to tell me to fuck off again?
Half-Life. Half-Light. Play a bit of Half-Life, shall we? Well, right. Okay.
Looking for something, Hunt? Huh?
Yeah,
Coming to tell me to fuck off again?
Still only 28%.
Looking for something, Hunt? Huh? Coming to tell me to
Nice.
fuck off again?
Show me her lorry, right? Effing now. The lady driver's lorry, where is it? F you, I told you, I'm not gonna... There, his voice grows smaller as yours. Okay. Look, F you, man, he tries to wave you off. It's some lorry down there, green banged up thing. I don't effing know who she is. When did she go away? I don't know. I don't even know her name. She just rolls with the fleet and acts like a big shot. Some dyke, probably. I haven't even seen her for days. Where exactly is her lorry? Past the monument, down there, he waves south. The green tempo. Now, leave me the F alone, okay? A small tempo by the monument, green, he turns to you. Let's get into that lorry. Okay. So let's go back to here and question this dude about the room again behind there. Maybe now that she said that they don't have a warehouse, he's going to change his tune. Yo, man who does not like us. Maybe not. So we tried all that stuff and none of it's worked. We're not going to try like cram a body into a fridge that's too small. That's like textbook detecting 101. Don't cram bodies into fridges too small. Let's try this one once more. Maybe it's potentially you got to do that at a different time in the day. But let's just get this thing out of here, shall we? Surely they can perform an autopsy anyway.
Yes?
I really don't remember anything. There was drinking involved. Have you tried concentrating on something other than your personal affairs? But I'm completely lacking in basic information about even this organisation we're in. Can you help me? Fine, we should get through this day first. Our hours begin at 9 o'clock. If you're still having trouble then, I can give you orientation. Well, it's past 9 o'clock. I'm afraid this is a medical situation. Really? The lieutenant gives you a look thorough as you're performing triage. You look fine to me. I had a job a while back that was basically performing triage. Computer did most of the work. It was a nightmare. But anyway, I'm talking serious, unbelievable damage here. I saw myself in the mirror and had no idea who I was. Okay then. This psychodrama is unbecoming of an officer. Clearly he prefers to think you're malingering. He cannot fathom that anyone could drink so much as to retroactively erase their own life. It's not psychological, some sort of major brain damage has occurred on an unprecedented scale. Then you should consider seeking medical attention. You can use the radio in my email to call your station's Lazarus. Is there anything else you wanted? Okay, no. Let's do that. Got the radio again. 41st Lazarus. You hear a man clearing his throat briskly, then answer, Gottlieb, what do you want? He's carelessly chewing on a piece of hard candy. I was told to call the Lazarus. People are worried about me. Oh, man is unpleasantly surprised. It's you. I've lost my memory, all of it. With all the damage you've been dealing yourself with drugs and alcohol, I'm not surprised. You're not surprised? Okay. Anything else? What else? I'm not a brain doctor. Look on the bright side, you've got a whole new life now. Use it wisely. It's hard to say if he doesn't believe you or doesn't care. Isn't there anything you can do for me? What? You want me to do blood work for you again? Tell you just how bad things really are across the board? You want another rundown and everything collapsing inside your body? I see your point, might as well just get back to work. Do that, I need to go. Some idiot has glued his eyelid shut with cyanoacrylate. It looks like Mac Torson, but it's hard to say because his eyes are so swollen. It's not effing cryoacrylate, it's super glue, doc. Cyanoacrylate. Cyanoacrylate is super glue. Okay. The phone clicks. Suddenly you hear the already familiar voice. Anything else I can help you with? Nah. Okay. Right, let's go over this damn truck. There's past the fountain. Green thing. Small green truck we're looking for. Over here, guys. Yo. This green Fallen AZ Contemporary is parked in the shadow of ruins looming overhead. It's seen better days. This must be the one he told us about, unless he was lying. Try to peek in the window. The glass on the side windows is tinted and covered with dust. You can barely make out the shape of a seat and two steering levers. Posters cover the small windows in the back. You can't make out what's on them. Try the door handle. Door is locked. The handle looks shiny, like it's recently been replaced. There's no pick in this lock. The owner has put special care into its recessed design. How are we going to get this open, Kim? Use the pry bar to smash the window and open it from inside. Good idea. I don't know how good it is, but this investigation has taken long enough. We can't afford it to take any longer. Very low as a physical instrument. Is there anything I can put on that changes my physical instrument? Tank top, yo. Well, we're going to take those gloves off, whatever we're doing. I've got a feeling this isn't going to go very well. Orange bum hat, +1 reaction speed. What does this give us? +1 encyclopedia. Have we got anything that takes away from physical instrument? I don't think so. We can maybe... Okay. I think this is the time to pop a save. Right, and what else was going to say? Oh yeah, are there any thoughts that help us with the physical instrument at the moment? No, not really. We don't have any skill points available. Okay, so this is probably going to fail. 3%. Yeah, I mean it's... Looks like the window might be shatterproof. You may have to rethink your approach. The window appears to be shatterproof. No, it's not shatterproof. Give me that. He takes the pry bar from you and gestures for you to step back. Then with little warning, he smashes it into the window. Droplets of glass fly everywhere, shattering over the lorry floor and pavement. You can just reach in now. Nice. He nods and gives you the tool back. It went better than I expected. Open it from the inside. Open the door. So I guess there's some things where you're not going to have much of a chance, but you need... They needed to do it to advance the story. There's been a couple of things like that where I've had no chance, and it's either I've had success straight away, or Kim has just done it for us. But anyway, the smell of cigarettes and perfume welcomes you. The cabin inside is plastered with old movie posters. Actresses smile from the walls. There's a radio transmitter in the front and a toolbox tucked under the driver's seat. Some tools lie scattered near the pedals. There's something odd about the passenger seat. The seating fabric has been pulled tight over the lower side of the seat where the toolbox should be. Okay, peel off the cover on the passenger seat then. Voila! A stack of neatly folded papers has been stashed inside the seating fabric. You see 3 maps depicting a large metropolitan area. It's Revocol. Some of its routes and highways have been outlined with a pen. Bona Prisa, the lieutenant commands you as you shift through the treasure, well worn and folded into neat squares. Okay, so fold open the topmost map. This large map displays the elevated motorway called 8/81. The intake leading to Martinez is marked with a blue X. There's another X on the off-ramp at a place called the Old South. Toll booths at the intakes are marked with a circle. It looks like there are scant few ways of getting onto the elevated motorway that runs over Jamrock, and this person knows them all. There, hundreds of thousands of motor carriages roar on the 8/81, high above the massive brown and red roofs that is Jamrock. The commuters don't even look down. The world ceases to exist outside the windshield. Where does the road lead? To Curon, through the middle-income neighbourhoods there, by the river, and then to Stella Maris and La Delta for work, while the men and women of Jamrock scuttle to their fates below the road. Fold open the second map. This municipal map from the 30s displays a complex system of storm sewers underneath a sub-district called the POX, Old Military Hospital, right adjacent to the 41st Precinct. Look at the third map. The final map displays a labyrinth of service tunnels left over from the construction of motorway 8/81. A few routes have been marked with a pen, where the tunnels and sewers surface near the eminent domain and a traffic island in central Jamrock by the lake. These service tunnels were probably used during the construction of the foundation between the motorway. Looks like the smugglers have infiltrated the road network belonging to East Motor Tract. So it would seem. The lieutenant examines the maps with a furrowed brow. The RCM patrols most of these auxiliary roads, though apparently not all of them. Where does the contraband end up?
Hard to say, this distribution network looks certainly large, yet still vague enough. It doesn't reveal much about the besmerti behind it. Besmerti, that sounds vaguely familiar. A besmerti is a Revacolian crime syndicate. They see themselves as the inheritors of the 14 Revacolian Inder tribes, but really they're just violent gangs vying for control of the west side of Revacol. With cool names, he adds with contempt, like Laputa Madre and Aherda Mazda. It's a dark parody. So who do you think is behind this? It's definitely not the Union, they'd just do some logistics. This operation has spread everywhere in Jamrock. If it's that widespread, then Marjorie remains the most likely suspect. He's bad news. Kim removes his glasses and polishes them with a handkerchief. There have been attempts at a serious investigation before, but they haven't ended well for those involved. Okay, return the stack of papers. The lieutenant nods. Best not to disturb the scene. I'll have forensics go over the lorry and pick these up later. The stack of maps looks just like before, barely noticeable. The movie stars looks silently by, and the pull-out toolbox has a rubber handle worn from years of use. Examine the toolbox. A metallic drawer slides out from the seat. It's empty except for a folded newspaper. Unfold the newspaper. It's an issue of Peripherique from last Wednesday. A piece of paper falls out from its pages. Pick up the note. It looks like an article ripped out from a radio enthusiast magazine. Complex mathematical equations explain the basics of something called the Ulan frequency system. The lieutenant leans over your shoulder to examine the note. The Ulan frequency system? I've never heard of that before. I know of FM, AM, UKV, but his thought trails off, pushing the pull-out tool. The posters. These are movie posters featuring starlets from long-forgotten films from the 20s, the teens, even the 90s of the last century. One of them particularly catches your eye, a centerfold of an inguinu, attached right above the back seat. There's definitely perfume in the air. It's spicy with a hint of amber wafting through the bitter air of the cabin. Stop and wonder what's the smell. The remnants of a sweet juniper-scented perfume, probably Granata No. 5. Study the centerfold. The actress is draped in a sheath dress, one of her shoulders bared. The faded remains of an autograph run across the poster. She's looking past the camera. Wait, doesn't she resemble someone you know? But you can't put a finger on who exactly. I can put a finger on who exactly. This is Tip Tion, a starlet from the dawn of cinematography, less known for her talent than a dramatic untimely death. What has happened to her? She wasted away in a drug den called the Door to the River, not far from here on Boogie Street. Boogie Street. A mixture of cocaine and morphine. She was afraid of the world and the camera too. Enough of the posters. The actresses and the rare actor are all smile you a warm goodbye. A radio transmitter is attached to a dashboard and a toolbox sits under the driver's seat. Examine the radio. Looks like the frequency dial is absent. It requires a key to work, but the key has been removed, likely by the missing lady driver. Kim leans closer to the radio and hums. Strange, there are so many radio stations saved here. Must be over 100 at least. Why would anyone need so many radio stations? For contacting an entire fleet of lorrymen, for example, he flicks the switch on the radio. This is all shortwave, UW and UKV. Looks like we're dealing with an impressive organisational tool, the nerve centre of a huge operation, with quite the range too. A 20-kilometre radius at least, perhaps extended by an attachable antenna that's not here right now. Is there anything we can do with the radio? It doesn't look like it. It's completely inoperable without a dial key. What else is here? Check the pedals. You edge yourself under the steering wheel to get a better look. Seems like the few tools lying around here, a hammer, a pair of pliers, a rusty wrench, have been casually thrown here by a disorganised driver. But one odd detail does catch your eye. A piece of sandpaper has been glued to the throttle. Sandpaper adds extra grip. Okay. Looks like the driver has glued a piece of sandpaper to the throttle to offer some extra grip. Sandpaper? The lieutenant repeats a novel technique. The sandpaper would also rub off the pattern from the driver's right boot sole. He said, yes, he likes where this is going. One of the footprints at the crime scene had an aberration. One sole was smoother than the other, which means that the missing lady driver was present at the lynching. The lieutenant's eyes light up behind his prescription lens. Oh dear. And she's also the one running the drug trade. What a handful. Okay, we've identified one of the footprints, but there's still 7 to go. He writes something in his little black notebook.
The movie stars are still smiling from the walls, but there's something strange about the passenger seat. Yep, okay. Close the rusty old lorry door. Great, I think we've got everything. A word, detective? He steps away from the lorry. Before we return to Joyce.
Alright, we've finished here. Let's quickly debrief and go over what we found, so we don't do it in front of the company.
Seems like something police would do. What do you think of all this, Kim? Honestly, I'm quite worried by what we've seen so far. The evidence seems to point to a rather extensive and well-organised operation. I'm especially intrigued by that radio transmitter, particularly the sheer number of stations it can connect. Looks like this alleged drug trade casts a wide net. This means it's well funded. Technology like that, a major player must be financing it. I'm not sure what the ULAN frequencies are all about, but they may hold some significance. Perhaps it's a better way to connect between fleets while avoiding frequency bleed, or maybe it's used to tap into RCM networks. Oh, and the maps we found, they reveal the geographical extent of the operation. Looks like they've used abandoned tunnels and access roads to stay hidden. This is useful info. How do you think this is connected to the Union? We didn't find anything conclusive linking them to the smuggling operation, but somehow I doubt that Everett Claire would be oblivious to something like this happening right under his nose. My suggestion is we use it against the Union in any way we can, to our own ends. It's a slippery eel, but we just might be able to pin them down indirectly down the road. In short, this is a future angle, possibly a good one. Will the RCM open investigation into the case? We should return to the murder case, see what Joyce tells us about the lynching. When we're done for the day, I'll call my station and suggest our narcotics department look into it. There are more than enough grounds to start an official investigation. Sometime later when we're done here, we do not want to get caught in that. He stops to think. What are you thinking? The fact that one hasn't started already gives me pause. An investigation, I mean. Especially if the Madra grouping is involved, and I can't imagine they aren't. It's certainly worrisome. Corruption? He nods. All the same, I don't like the idea of internal affairs descending on the matter. That won't help anyone either. What about the movie posters? As elegant as they are, I don't think they're relevant to the drug trade. Don't be fooled, desire always plays a role. A lot of women there, especially for a lady driver's cabin. Maybe the trader is some sort of cinephile. Could the film interest you? Yes, well, he doesn't say anymore. Okay, debrief over. Debrief over after you. Okay. Found out a lot today. I'm finding out by reading all this stuff out. I'm not taking it in quite as much as if I were to be just reading it. So it's going to be helpful for me to take regular breaks so I can kind of like think about this stuff a little bit in between playing and make sure that I don't just carry on reading until something happens. I'm thinking there's one person out of everyone that we've met so far who fits the description of this lady quite well. The only thing we need to know is the only thing I don't know is the shoe. Oh look, our head follows the mouse. That's pretty cool. We don't turn around though, but anyway. Now, I'm not going to say explicitly who it is. I want to know if anyone else thinks the same. So, if you've been watching up to this point, I know there's some people that are. Hit us up down in the comments. Unless you've played the game before and you know already, that's cheating. If you're watching it and you don't know what's happening yet, like me, pop in the comments down below what you think or who you think I think this lady driver is before we go any further. And at that, I'm gonna bid you adieu. Have a good night, everyone, and I'll catch you in a bit. All right, bye, 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 bye.